Hi there. We're on day 251 of our Through the Bible in a Year. It's September the 7th. Let's jump over there. 2 chapters in Ezekiel today. We're working our way through this. It's taking about 4 days left, I believe. So, and we're in the latter half. So, the defeat of Gog. I don't know what Gog is. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, turn your face towards Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Prophesy against him and say, this is what the Lord God says. Look, I am against you, Gog, chief of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn you around, put hooks in your jaws, and bring you out with all your army, including horses and riders, who are all splendidly dressed, a huge company armed with shields and bucklers, all of them brandishing swords. Persia, Cush, and Put are with them, all of them with shields and helmets. Gomer with all its troops, and Beth Togarmah with from the remotest parts of the north, along with all its troops. Many peoples are with you. Be prepared, get yourself ready. You and all your company who have been mobilized around you, you will be their guard. After a long time, you will be summoned. In the last years, you will enter a land that has been restored from war and gathered from many peoples to the mountains of Israel, which had long been a ruin. They were brought out from the peoples, all of them now live securely. You and all your troops and many peoples with you will advance, coming like a thunderstorm. You will be like a cloud covering the land. This is what the Lord God says. On that day, thoughts will arise in your mind, and you will devise an evil plan. You will say, I will go up against a land of open villages. I will come against the tranquil people who are living securely, all of them living without walls and without bars or gates, in order to seize, spoil, and carry off plunder, to turn your hand against ruins now inhabited, and against people gathered from the nations who have been acquiring cattle and possessions, and who live at the center of the world. Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of the Tarshish and all its rulers will ask you, have you come to seize spoil? Have you assembled your hordes to carry out plunder, to make off silver and gold, to take cattle and possessions, to seize great spoil? Therefore prophesy, son of man, and say to Gog, this is what the Lord God says. On that day when my people Israel are dwelling securely, will you not know this and come from your place in the remotest parts of the north, you and many peoples with you who are all riding horses, a mighty horde, a huge army? You will advance against my people Israel like a cloud covering the land. It will happen in the last days, Gog, that I will bring you against my land, so that all the nations may know me when I show myself holy through you in their sight. This is what the Lord God says. Are you the one I spoke about in the former times through my servants, the prophets of Israel, who for years prophesied in those times that I would bring you against them? Now on that day, when God comes against the land of Israel, this is the declaration of the Lord God, my wrath will flare up. I will swear in my zeal a fire and fiery rage. On that day there will be a great earthquake in the land of Israel. The fish of the sea and the birds of the sky and the animals of the field and every creature that crawls on the ground and every human being on the face of the earth will tremble before me. The mountains will be thrown down, the cliffs will collapse, and every wall will fall to the ground. I will call for a sword against him on all my mountains, the declaration of the Lord God. Why do they do that? And every man's sword will be against his brother. I will execute judgment on him with plague and bloodshed. I will pour out torrential rain, hailstones, fire, and brimstone on him, as well as his troops and the many peoples who are with him. I will display my greatness and holiness and reveal myself in the sight of many nations. They will know that I am Yahweh. The disposal of Gog. As for you, son of man, prophesy against Gog and say, this is what the Lord God says. Look, I am against you, Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn you around and drive you on and lead you up from the remotest parts of the earth. I will bring you up against the mountains of Israel. Then I will knock your bow from your left hand and make your arrows drop from your right hand. You, all your troops, and the peoples who are with you will fall in the mountains of Israel. I will give you as food to every kind of predatory bird and to the wild animals. You will fall in an open field, for I have spoken. Right. This is the declaration of the Lord God. I will send fire against Magog and those who live securely on the coast and islands. They will know that I am Yahweh. So you will make my holy name known among my people, Israel, and will no longer allow it to be profaned. Then the nations will know that I am Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel. Yet, yes, it is coming, and it will happen. This is the day I have spoken about. Then the inhabitants of Israel's cities will go out, kindle fires, and burn the weapons, the bucklers, the shields, the bows, and arrows, the clubs, and the spears. For 7 years they will use them to make fires. They will not gather wood from the countryside or cut it down from the forest, for they will use the weapons to make fires. They will take the loot from those looted from the plunder, those who plundered them. That's the declaration. Now on that day I will give Gog a burial place there in Israel, the valley of the travelers east of the sea. It will block those who travel through it, for Gog and all his swords will be buried there. So it will be called the Valley of Hamon-Gog. The house of Israel will spend 7 months burying them in order to cleanse the land. All the people of the land will bury them and their fame will spread on the day I display my glory. This is the declaration of our God. They will appoint me on a full-time basis to pass through the land and bury the invaders who remain on the surface of the ground in order to cleanse it. They will make their search at the end of 7 months. When they pass through the land and one of them sees a human bone, he will set up a marker next to it, and the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon-Gog. There will even be a city named Hamonah there, so they will cleanse the land. Son of man, this is what the Lord God says. Tell every kind of bird and all wild animals, assemble and come gather from all around in my sacrificial feast that I am slaughtering for you. A great feast on the mountains of Israel. You will eat flesh and drink blood. You will eat the flesh of mighty men and drink the blood of the earth's princes. Rams, lambs, male goats, and all the fattened bulls of Bashan. You will eat fat until you are satisfied, and drink blood till you are drunk. My sacrificial feast that I have prepared for you. At my table you will eat your fill of horses and riders, of mighty men and all the warriors. Get that? This is the declaration of the Lord God. Israel's restoration to God. I will display my glory among the nations, and all the nations will see the judgment I have executed on the hand that I have laid on them. From that day forward, the house of Israel will know that I am Yahweh their God, and the nations will know that the house of Israel went into exile on account of their iniquity, because they dealt unfaithfully with me. Therefore I hid my face from them and handed them over to their enemies, so that they all fell by the sword. I dealt with them according to their uncleanness and transgressions, and I hid my face from them. So this is what the Lord God says. Now I will restore the fortunes of Jacob and have compassion on the whole house of Israel. I will be jealous for my holy name. They will feel remorse for their disgrace and all the unfaithfulness they committed against me. When they live securely in the land with no one to frighten them, when I bring them back from the peoples and gather them from the countries of their enemies, I will demonstrate my holiness through them in the sight of many nations. They will know that I am Yahweh, their God, when I regather them to their own land after having exiled them from among the nations. I will leave none of them behind. I was looking at that note. See, now I'm lost. Oh, there it is. I will leave none of them behind. I will no longer hide my face from them, for I will pour out my spirit on those of Israel. This is the declaration of the Lord God. So, there you go. Mark that as complete. Look ahead, that's always fun. 40 and 41, the new temple. See, now this stuff hasn't happened yet, I don't believe. Okay? And Israel is still scattered all over the world, you know. It'll be interesting to see when they all just feel this unnatural calling to return to Jerusalem, you know, and they will, and nothing will stop them. So that'll be interesting, huh? Do you think Christians will be called to? I don't know. Maybe. Let's wait and see, right? So there you have it. That's day 251. We're getting there. So catch up on any you may have missed. You want to say you got the whole Bible in a year? And give us a like if you think about it. But till tomorrow, we'll do it again. See you then.